Okay, in the last video, I showed you how I typically would like to start campaigns, especially if it's multi-asset, starting with a strategy document. We built out a webinar, we built out the landing page, and now we're going to move into ads. And I'm going to show you the editing process within MarketerX and why I really, really love it. I think you will too. So starting off, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's get kicked off with start phase 3. And here, as you can see, MarketerX, again, thinking over what it's wanting to do. What I love, again, it's pulling relevant skills that it needs. It's pulling in the brand guidelines, the avatar info, the offer information, and it already has a lot of the context from the session. Then it's referring back to our strategy document, and then it's even calling out the testimonials within our knowledge base that it's planning on using for these ads. It's looking for different testimonials by searching, hey, is there anyone that's an online business owner that's 10 to 50K a month? It found testimonials that related to them. And again, it's pulling the full information, the full context from those knowledge-based documents into its context so that it can write the Facebook ads with excellence. Now you can see it's created a subfolder for phase 3, the warm audience meta ads, and it's created the placeholder documents within that subfolder, again, keeping everything organized for you. And this is what's really cool about MarketerX. You don't see this on other platforms like Claude or ChatGPT. You don't see it saying writing for the Andromeda era. These other platforms aren't going, hey, what is the algorithm that Meta currently runs off of, and how do we make sure we're capitalizing on what that algorithm actually wants? It's really awesome. And then actually, once it's finished the ads, I'll show you the creative breakdown so you know exactly what that means. What does it actually mean to write towards an Andromeda algorithm? Okay, so you can see that MarketerX has dispatched these ads to be written by the sub agents. You can see ad number 3 is actually done, and we're still just waiting on ad number 1 and ad number 2. And then once they're written, they'll be returned back to the chief MarketerX agent for its proprietary algorithm scoring, for its compliance checks. Then it'll return it back to you, the user, for review. You can see ads 1 and 3 passed our approval standards, but ad number 2 actually had a finalized improvement, meaning it was reviewed by the chief. He sent it back and said, hey, we need to fix this and this on this ad before I actually show it to the user. Again, another quality layer that protects you from wasted time and frustrating moments going back and forth with an AI that clearly doesn't know marketing. It says that ad 1 hooks on the plateau of the symptom, introduces the proximity gap as a structural cause, drives to the webinar registration. Ad number 2 was a post-failure validation. So they've tried everything, opens with a specific failed attempts the avatar recognizes, offer rebuild, hire, systems, funnels, reframes those as diagnostic evidence rather than a personal failure. Ad number 3 leads with the cohort composition and selection standard. So it uses real testimonials from Monica, Rachel, and Dana, all 3 verified clean against brief, no hype language, no fabricated stats, warm audience. Again, where does the no hype language come from? It comes from the avatar documents, but also comes from the brand guidelines where we say, hey, we don't want any hype language, right? Never use hype language. It's a part of the brand voice that, again, MarketerX has remembered, held true to it, and even after it's written 66 slide webinar where that's a huge text file. It's written 3 different ads. It's written the landing page. It's remembering the brand voice. It's remembering the rules that you're saying to follow. Now, here's where things get really fun because most platforms treat generation like the endpoint. They treat once you've written the ad that you're done, but that's not true. When it comes to marketing, we're constantly refining, we're constantly optimizing, and we're editing, we're adjusting, we're modifying what we've written. A copywriter doesn't just write one thing and never touches it again. That's a terrible copywriter. But with MarketerX, it makes it so simple to adjust and modify over time. So for example, right off the bat, even if I didn't like something, let's say I didn't like your, right? I could just take it, I could delete it right there, right? Or I could type it in. You can type whatever you want into the artifact panel because it's yours. We wanted to mimic what our usual copywriter's workflow is, which is Google Docs, right? And in Google Docs, that's typically how we're editing. We're not just held captive by an AI and just prompting and hoping it gets it right, but we want to edit it. It's our copy. But if you ever wanted to make changes, like let's go through this, that I'm going through and I want to make an ad like this, for example, right? I might not like that we use the word mechanism, right? And I might want to call that out. I don't want to use the word mechanism in our ad copy. So I went ahead, highlighted, told MarketerX what I didn't like, and MarketerX is now going to review that, compare that to the context of the actual ad itself, and it's going to come back with suggestions or edits based on what it wants to do to improve and still drive home that point, but still making sure that we don't use the word mechanism. So here you'll notice that MarketerX realized, hey, we want to remove this mechanism word from ad number 1, but it's already realized, hey, ad number 2 and 3 also says mechanism. So it's proactively going, hey, if we change this in this ad, we should also realign it in this ad so that it makes sure they're all synergistic. That is something I absolutely love that MarketerX is already cognizant of saying, hey, if we change something in one part of our campaign, we should make sure the rest of our campaign aligns with that messaging. And here you can see MarketerX pulled up the Diff Engine. You can see the actual changes it wants to make. So instead of saying that's the mechanism, that's what stops the ceiling from moving, it's saying that's the constraint. That's what stops the ceiling from moving, right? I love how it makes it so easy for you to know, hey, this is what MarketerX actually wants to change if I accept this modification. And what's cool is that you can approve or reject them line by line if you wanted to, or you can approve all of them. Or let's say, for example, I'm going to say, let's take a more emotional approach to this line, right? I can hit that. So it's received that comment, it's understood what it meant, especially in the context of the ad, and it's rewritten it in a different way that leans more emotional like we asked for. So with that said, I can either reject, approve, a comment again, or I can just hit approve all, and now those changes are locked on that draft. But that's not all that you can do with this artifact, right? Let's say, for example, that this was an ad and I wanted to really build something out for a wireframe, or I wanted to see what it actually looked like. You can actually add images inside of this panel here. Let's see if I came up here. And let's say I just wanted to add this screenshot into the artifact. And now you actually have an image rendered there nice in the artifact so you can see what it looks like. And again, we wanted to build this artifact to be similar to your workflow. So if you use, let's say Google Docs, and you're used to like, hey, I really like to bold, you can use the bold or italic, or you can use quick commands like bold with Command B, right? All of this was designed to, hey, how can we integrate into your workflow as a marketer so that you have the tools at your disposal to really build out great marketing campaigns. Now, there's other things that we've done actually to help try to improve the workflow or help keep things organized, because when I was using other platforms, one of my biggest frustrations was it felt like things were cluttered, right? I'd work in one session on Claude or GPT and I'd have some great artifacts, but then after that one session, a few days later, they're now kind of gone. They disappear into an endless list of different sessions, and it was really hard to find. With MarketerX, it keeps things organized. So for example here, let me just come to the file tree and say, you can actually tell MarketerX to organize it. Let's do a reorganization of the file tree. I want to make sure that the landing page and the webinar script are in a subfolder together. And then let's make sure the strategy document is in a folder of its own called strategy. You can actually tell MarketerX to reorganize your file tree. And so this is super helpful, especially on campaigns where sometimes I'll have 70 or 80 different files within my file tree, and I can have them nice and organized. I can have emails in one, ads in another, landing pages in another. You can organize it however you like. But this really keeps it beneficial for those bigger sessions, but it also is a place I can come back to, and it's a place I can refine, right? I can come back to the same session that I wrote the original ads on, report the data and the performance, and then create iterations within that same session and have it, again, nice and organized. Here you can see MarketerX has gone through and reviewed. All I have to do is hit approve on the reorganization. And then you're going to see that file tree on the left-hand side reorganize itself so it's nice and neat in the way we asked for it. And boom, it's done. You can see that this webinar strategy document is in a strategy folder. The webinar assets are all together, and then the ads are all in their own subfolder. Another really cool feature of MarketerX is it's your ability to constantly evolve and improve your vault or your knowledge base. See, for example, the file tree that you have right now, in a way, they're kind of like your session knowledge base. All of these items are tied together within a single campaign. But let's say, for example, I came up with a really cool research report. Let's say I want you to do research on the top productivity hacks or tools or softwares that exist today. Our target market might be interested in what those are. And I'm thinking for email nurture sequences, we might want to give them a value or educational email that breaks down the top tips or tools that exist in 2026. Let's say you were building out this campaign, but you were trying to think of email nurture sequences. And one of them was, let's say, your target audience is interested in productivity tools or softwares. So you could actually have MarketerX go do research for you. It'll span out deep research into multi-sub agents, and it'll compile that research report for you here inside of this session and save it in your file tree. And again, as it deploys research, you can see what MarketerX is actually searching. You can see the different searches it did. You can see the sources that it actually reviewed and brought in. And so you can actually stay aware of what it's searching. And if you even wanted to, you can click that button and go see what article it actually read. But now MarketerX is compiling that information from all the research that it's done, and it's going to build out that research report. But notice how even in its thinking, it was saying that it needs to tailor this to be positioned well for a nurture email. So it's not just going, okay, let's take that exact prompt that you gave me and go search Google. It's going, hey, The context of it is for the nurture sequences that we have planned in phase 4. So let's make sure that the searches we're doing is tailored for that phase. Again, MarketerX staying highly strategic and highly focused on the task at hand, which is not just building a research report, but we're building out a campaign. It's a part of a bigger system. It's finished its research, it's compiled it into a report, and notice how it even preemptively created the phase 4 email sequences subfolder, and it's going to store the report there because that's what we told it was going to be for. Here you can see MarketerX is finished, saying research is saved to phase 4 email sequences folder. Here's the headline picture. Dominant shift operators in 2026 aren't using one productivity tool. They're running a coordinated AI stack of average of 5 tools. The average documented time saving is 5.6 hours a week. The gap between operators who stack well versus those who don't is measurable in P&L. So then it saved this great research report. It's got all of the information, but here's the cool part, right? What if I don't want to just leave this research report here? What if I think it's actually valuable and I don't want it to go to waste? Well, all you have to do is come up to the top right corner, go down to Save to Vault, click Research Report, Document, wherever you want it saved. And I could say, save to the Research Report section. And boom, you can see that it actually saved that report to the research reports under here, and now it can be used in any other session that you have. It's saved permanently to your global knowledge base. That way, any brilliance or stroke of genius or great ad that you wrote or landing page that you're really proud of, you can actually save, and so it's referred back to in the future. Let's say it's as an example or a model. And again, that's another area where we're like, how do we work into your workflow? I can't tell you how many other times I've been in sessions and I've been creating something great, but then it gets lost because it's only saved to that session. With MarketerX, it makes it so simple to continue building your intelligence, your knowledge base as you go. And so now this report I can save in the future. Now, as a note, if you go to the Save to Vault and click an area you want it to save, it sometimes will take up to 10 to 15 seconds because what's actually happening behind the scenes is our system is embedding it so that the agent can quickly find it in the future. So that process takes a little bit of time, but if you click it, hit save, you'll get a notification in the next 10 to 15 seconds letting you know it's been saved to your vault. And of course, like you can see, it's saved right here under our research reports. And that's it for this video. I've shown you how the Diff Engine works, how you can edit or modify artifacts, you can drag or drop images into it. You can also do research at any point during your sessions and save any document, any file into your global knowledge base anytime you want to continue building your brand brain. Thank you so much for watching. And again, of course, if you have any questions, always let us know by clicking that support button down in the bottom corner and sending us a message. And if you haven't yet, join us on Slack so you can stay up to date on any new features or rollouts that we have coming your way.